Hey friends, welcome back to the Homestead. If you're new here, my name's Joe, and I've been homesteading for a good while now. Today, I want to talk about something that comes up all the time. Do I need a ton of land to start homesteading? The short answer? Nope, not at all. Homesteading isn't about owning 50 acres or a big farmhouse. It's about living more self-sufficiently, growing your own food, and learning to make the most of what you've got. And believe it or not, you can do a whole lot on a single acre, or even less. So in this video, I'll walk you through how to set up a homestead on 1 acre or smaller. We'll cover food production, animals, water management, and even how to make the space feel balanced without overwhelming yourself. Let's jump in. Before we talk about chickens or gardens, let's start with mindset. One of the biggest mistakes people make when starting on a small property is trying to do everything at once. Remember, homesteading is a journey, not a sprint. Start by asking yourself a few key questions. What are your goals? Do you want to grow most of your vegetables? Raise your own meat? Just cut the grocery bill? How much time do you realistically have to devote each day or week? What skills do you already have? And what do you need to learn? Then take a piece of paper and sketch out your property. Mark where your house sits, where the sun rises and sets, and any existing trees, fences, or water sources. This little map will become your guide as you decide where to put the garden, the animals, and other projects. The goal here is to start small and design your homestead to fit your lifestyle. Trust me, it's a whole lot easier to expand later than to burn out right from the start. Alright, let's start with the backbone of any homestead, the garden. On 1 acre or less, you don't need a giant field. Even a quarter-acre garden can produce more food than you might think. I recommend starting with raised beds or no-dig garden rows. Raised beds keep things neat, make weeding easier, and help you build good soil quickly. No-dig rows, on the other hand, are simple and low cost. You layer compost, mulch, and organic matter right on top of the ground, then plant directly into it. For space efficiency, grow vertical whenever possible. Trellis cucumbers, beans, and tomatoes. You'll save space and get cleaner harvests. When it comes to crops, focus on the ones you actually eat the most. There's no point growing 50 cabbages if your family doesn't like cabbage. Good starter crops for small spaces include lettuce, kale, tomatoes, beans, peppers, carrots, and zucchini. And don't forget about perennials. Planting things like berries, asparagus, and rhubarb gives you food that comes back year after year with minimal effort. With just a few raised beds and some smart planting, you'll be surprised how much produce you can pull out of even a small backyard. Now, let's talk animals. On 1 acre or less, you probably don't have room for cows, but that doesn't mean you can't raise livestock. Chickens are the obvious choice. They're small, easy to care for, and give you eggs almost daily. A flock of 6 hens can easily supply a family of 4 with eggs year-round. If you want meat as well, you could raise dual-purpose breeds or do a batch of meat birds once or twice a year. Rabbits are another great option for small homesteads. They don't take up much space, they reproduce quickly, and they provide both meat and excellent fertilizer for your garden. If you've got a little more room, consider ducks or even a couple of dairy goats. Goats are fantastic for milk, cheese, and soap, but they do require good fencing. They're escape artists. The key here is not to overcrowd. On a small property, it's better to raise fewer animals well than to overwhelm yourself with too many. And remember, every animal should serve multiple purposes. Chickens give you eggs, meat, pest control, and manure. Rabbits give you meat and compost. Goats can clear brush, provide milk, and give you manure. Always think about how each piece fits into the bigger homestead puzzle. Water and compost might not be the most glamorous part of homesteading, but they're absolutely essential, especially on a small lot where efficiency matters. First, water. If you can, set up rainwater catchment from your roof. Even a small system with a couple of barrels can help supplement your garden during dry spells. Drip irrigation or soaker hoses are a great way to save water while keeping plants healthy. Next, compost. On a homestead, nothing should go to waste. Kitchen scraps, garden trimmings, and animal bedding can all go into a compost system. You can do a traditional pile, or if space is tight, look into vermicomposting. That's composting with worms. Chickens also help break down scraps and turn them into fertilizer. By managing water and waste wisely, you'll close the loop on your homestead. Instead of constantly bringing in outside resources, you're recycling what you already have. That's the heart of self-sufficiency. One of the challenges of homesteading on a small property is space. But with some creativity, you can fit a lot into 1 acre. Think vertical, not just in the garden, but around the whole property. You can grow grapes on an arbor, espalier fruit trees along fences, or use hanging baskets for herbs. Use multifunctional spaces. A chicken run can double as an orchard floor where the birds clean up pests and fertilize the trees. A rabbit hutch can be built over a worm bin to streamline composting. Also, don't underestimate container gardening. If you've got a patio or porch, you can grow potatoes in buckets, herbs in pots, and even dwarf fruit trees in large containers. And remember, it doesn't all have to be food. Planting flowers helps with pollination, supports the bees, and makes your homestead beautiful. A small space that's well designed will actually be more productive and less overwhelming than a big property that's poorly managed. Before we wrap up, let's cover a few common mistakes I see new homesteaders make on small plots. Number 1, doing too much too soon. Start with a garden and maybe one type of livestock. Learn the ropes before adding more. Number 2, ignoring local rules. Some towns have restrictions on livestock or building structures. Always check before investing. Number 3, forgetting about time. Homesteading is rewarding, but it takes commitment. Be honest about how much time you can give, or you'll burn out fast. And number 4, not planning for growth. Even if you're starting small, leave yourself room to expand later. Whether that's another raised bed, a bigger coop, or a few more fruit trees. So there you have it. The essentials of setting up a homestead on 1 acre or less. We talked about planning your space, building a productive garden, raising small livestock, managing water and compost, and using every inch creatively. The truth is, you don't need a ton of land to live the homestead lifestyle. What you do need is creativity, consistency, and the willingness to learn as you go. If you're dreaming of self-sufficiency, don't wait until you have that perfect piece of land. Start right where you are. Plant a garden, get a few hens, build systems that work for your space. You'll be amazed at how much abundance you can create, even on a single acre. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If this video inspired you, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more homesteading tips and let me know in the comments. What's the first step you're taking on your 1 acre homestead? Until next time, happy homesteading.